You're listening to Life with Herpes, and this is episode 12. Welcome to today's show, the Ask Alexandra edition. I'm excited for you to be here. This is the Life with Herpes podcast. And gosh, I love this section because it allows, those questions that you're wondering, somebody else is wondering. I'm wondering, somebody else listening in, I don't know, some part of the world, in London town, to New Jersey, to Canada, to Alaska, to Australia. They are probably wondering the same question. So this is really one of my favorite episodes on the Life with Herpes podcast. Before we get into that, I want to see if you have had a chance to download our free ebook. It is about the 9 seldomly used but incredibly powerful over-the-counter herpes remedies. I put that together. It is something that I personally use. I love it. I even go to it when I forget what I'm supposed to use. It's definitely a reference that I use if I feel like an outbreak is coming on, and it's something that I really, really, really want you to make sure you have in your back pocket so that when you feel that tingly feeling, you will know what to do. So head on over to lifewithherpes.com and you can download it, download it. It's an ebook, it's free. And just have it there so you can know what to do to prevent outbreaks or if you have an outbreak, how to speed up the healing process. So for the Ask Alexandra section, again, I said I really love this because it allows us to connect. This week is a question from Chris from Nashville, Tennessee. And if you're wondering how Chris submitted his questions, he went to lifewithherpes.com on the homepage there. I have a section for you to submit your question for the Life with Herpes podcast. It is a quick little, you can fill it out. It's easy. If you want to remain anonymous, you can click a little button and I'll make sure that your name is anonymous. I really do like to include your city because it's fun. Like, this is Chris from Nashville. Chris, I have not been to Nashville. I would love to go to Nashville, Tennessee. I've heard it's absolutely breathtaking and beautiful. So I hope you enjoy your beautiful, beautiful city. Chris's question, which is such a great question. Chris, I'm so glad you asked this question, is do you have to have sex to get herpes? Perfect question. So this is such a myth. Is you think, okay, well, you got to have sex in order to get herpes. If you don't have sex, then there's no way you can possibly get herpes. Well, here is why that is absolutely false. And the truth is, you do not have to have sex to even get herpes at all. Herpes, the virus, the HSV virus, is passed skin to skin. So let's use our imagination here. Skin to skin contact. So it basically happens is when there is somebody that is infected with the HSV virus and they come into contact with somebody who is not infected with the HSV virus, then that new person now has come into contact and now most likely will become infected and have herpes too. Now, the herpes virus prefers moist, dark, wet areas, soft tissue like your mouth. And your genital region, it prefers that, but it's not going to be picky. Think about it. This little virus has been around for millions of years and it is very contagious. Otherwise, we would not still have it at this point. It wants to survive and it wants to pop up anywhere it can. So if, for example, you come into contact, on the inside of your leg near your genital area, that is an area where you can get an outbreak. Ladies, you can get an outbreak inside your vaginal canal. You can also get it really anywhere. If your elbow comes into contact and your immune system is really weak, chances are you could pick it up that way as well. So that's one of the things that unfortunately, the idea of genital herpes is such a stigma because you get it from sex. Well, the truth is no, you cannot. There are ways to pass it without having actual sex. Obvious, one that comes to my mind right away is oral sex. Okay, so if you have herpes on your mouth and perform oral sex on a partner who is not infected with herpes, he or she now is has been exposed to potentially getting the HSV herpes now in their genital regions. Vice versa, if you have genital herpes, you now can expose the person to having it on their mouth. So the virus really doesn't care where it goes as long as it can survive. So no, you absolutely can not have sex and get herpes. That's one of the ways I really want to talk about, and I need to make this whole nother episode, is talking about safe sex. I know that sounds like, oh, safe sex. It sounds like you're in sex ed, but one of the things to think about is typically when there is foreplay, we have not been educated to use protection at foreplay, right? We've been educated to use protection to prevent pregnancy or a sexually transmitted disease, and we're taught that that disease, that STD or STI, can only be transmitted during sex. Well, 100% false. It can be skin to skin. So if you have genital herpes and you're not using protection during foreplay, you come into contact with that person, and now they are now in contact. Typically, herpes, this is also a shocker. When you have the blisters, that is when you are most contagious, right? Obviously, right? You have an outbreak, you have blisters, it's filled with pus, and those lesions are filled with pus, and the pus is filled with the virus. Like it is ready to spread. It is like a forest fire with no water at that point. Well, obviously, if you have an outbreak, it's really painful, and chances are you're not going to be passing that virus. You're not going to be having sex, right? Because it's painful at that point. So 70% of the time, the virus is passed from one person to another person without any signs, without any outbreak. So this means you may not even know that you are having the viral shedding, which is asymptomatic, which means the virus wants to come up, shed. It doesn't cause an outbreak. It just wants to pop up and do whatever it wants to do. You could be spooning with somebody. You could be, you go to the bathroom, don't wash your hands, and then go to, proceed in foreplay, and there you go, skin to skin. It gets passed that way. Make sure you're really careful about hand washing. Make sure, again, what solves this problem is tell your partner. Tell your partner you have herpes. That way he or she will know that they have the chance to pick it up. I'm trying to think. Oh, other ways the virus is passed. I was really specific because John, you mentioned, do you have to have sex to have herpes, to get herpes? No, as I just explained that. I also want to talk about oral herpes, or HSV1, or the herpes that's typically on your mouth. Okay, so that is typically passed from a family member. It's typically passed from a family member to a child when they're kids. Grandma has a cold sore or a fever blister, or they call it something different, so it's not herpes, and they go and kiss the grandchild, and they pick him up, and they're so excited to see him, and guess what? Now the grandchild now has herpes, and there was no sex involved at that point, right? They're excited to see. Or you kiss somebody, you're so excited. In a lot of cultures, people kiss when they say hello. There again, you can pick up the virus. Or you pick up somebody's water glass or beer, or hey, try this, it's so good, I want you to have a bite. There you go. So the virus is spread skin to skin, but it also can be transmitted through body fluids. Again, saliva, semen, fluid from the female genital tract, and of course, like I mentioned earlier, the fluid from the sores or the blisters. Okay, John, thank you so much for asking that question. I know you have helped a lot of people, and it just reminds us to just think about it, and make sure that you're doing everything you can to prevent passing it from somebody. If you guys have not joined, John, if you've not joined the Facebook group, or whoever is listening right now, if you've not joined the Facebook group, come over, say hi, join. It would be great. We can continue this conversation and we can spend some time to get to know each other. It is uber, super duper secretive. It is a secret Facebook group within Facebook, which means that your friend of your friend of a friend will not know that you have herpes. The only people that know are the people in the Facebook group. So you and me and John, who's listening or who wrote this in, we will know because we are a group, we're a family, and we're here to support each other. Okay, thank you so much. Send in your questions. Like I said, the Ask Alexandra section is really one of my favorites because I can connect to you, and it's great to see your questions. I love them. I appreciate them. Keep sending them. And go to lifewithherpes.com. Submit your question. All right, I'll see you soon.